Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Girls Frontline 2 video. So let's talk about the patch notes incoming next week. So we're gonna have a pretty big update, right? So we got a couple of new characters coming in. Double banner is incoming, so that means we got Springfield and Peri happening at the same time July 3rd, and that's going to be two banners concurrently running. And then of course we will be able to obtain at the same time Faye for free as well. Very appreciative of that. So that's going to be pretty much the update. So with all of this in accordance to what we are getting after as well. So in this particular video, I'm going to discuss about which characters you should be pulling. Alright, so by default, what are going to be the strong characters that you should be getting, right? So by far, if you can pick one between Springfield and Peri, if you are here to only pick one character, I would definitely recommend Springfield. Now Springfield is going to be the core for Hydro Team. She's the go-to, she's the must-have. She's pretty much the next meta character that a lot of players should be looking at besides Vector, right? So Springfield is by far the most important character if you're trying to build a Hydro Team. Basically, she's the foundation, right? Similar to Vector and Chongju, right? Springfield is going to be there maintaining that in particular as well. Now Peri on the other hand, she is going to be a little bit more niche. So in the CN meta, if you guys are not aware, what they do is they introduce Peri and Peri actually came out first. Now what is her role in the burn team pretty much? As you can see, she's a bulwark class, so that means she's much more of a tank, alright? She's not going to be a DPS. Her skill 1 basically just consumes HP 30% of max HP, alright? Gains 2 layers of hot investment, and then do a little bit of burn damage to one target, right? So basically hot investment decrease the damage received by 10%. So this is going to be something that's very niche, maybe in PvP, maybe in some like a normal PvE mode, but not in like Gunsmoke where the end game is going to be around trying to attack bosses, right? So skill 2 has the AoE, right? She consumes again 40% of her HP, right? She gains a lot of hot investment again, and she applies overburn to the enemy. And last but not least, the ultimate, she basically gains hot investment, negotiation, principal protection that allows her to absorb shield, right? It's like a shield that gives her 50% of Peri's max HP. Now negotiation basically increases her damage dealt, but she's a tank, so she's a little bit weird in that particular case, right? Now the passive skill, increase Confectance Index. When allies activate action support that deals burn damage, if Peri's Confectance Index is below 6 points, increase the Confector Index by 1 point. Now when she first came out, she pretty much was one of the few meta members in the burn team, right? So if you guys are not aware how the burn team looks like at the beginning, so this is pretty much going to be the core member for burn team. We have Vector, we got Chongju, we got Shakri, alright, and then we also have one healer, alright, so Centauri C or Ksenia, whichever that you prefer, right? And of course the fifth member can be Peri. So early on in CN server, Peri was there before Shakri gets her expansion key. Now, in this particular update, they have also announced that Shakri will be getting her expansion update, which pretty much removes Peri's role actually, right? So right here they mention it. So right here you can see they mention it in the patch. Tololo and Shakri will both be getting their Neural Helix expansion. So what Shakri's Neural expansion does is it changes her support, you know, her support skill that is usually physical, it changed it to burn. So Shakri is going to be way stronger now, and she is going to be the core, the go-to in terms of trying to improve the overall damage for your burn team, right? So sadly, for global server in our current server, it seems like you really don't need Peri anymore. Now unless you really like her design, Peri should be pretty much a skip for most majority of the players, right? So she no longer have a place in burn teams, she's pretty much replaced by Shakri. Now there is going to be an exception, right? For example, in the future, if Peri gets her own neural expansion, that could still be a thing. Or maybe in the future, if you plan to run 2 burn teams. I don't know how that's going to be possible because there's only one Vector. But you never know, right? What if the future meta is going to lean towards multiple of the same element of teams? But for now, Springfield is just going to be better. But what is going to be important is what's coming next, right? So they've pretty much mentioned that after everything ends, alright, with Springfield and Peri, we will be having Qiuhua. Alright, Qiuhua is also a character that belongs to the burn team composition. In fact, she's one of the strongest DPS character in the game for burn team. So here's for one example right here, you can see, big shout out to Seiya right here for uploading this particular one. So this is a Qiuhua showcase. She does most of the damage in the burn team. However, this is going to be a V6 Qiuhua, which I think most players are not going to have. So let's talk a little bit more about Qiuhua, right? So she is going to be a very unique character, very similar to Kluke. In fact, she's even more brutal than Kluke in terms of her dupes pretty much doesn't do anything until V6. So you either V0 her or you pretty much try to V6 her, right? So once you V6 her, her damage is going to be insane. Now Qiuhua is going to be the character, this is going to be very interesting, right? She's the first Vanguard shotgun in a while, so she's pretty much a shotgun DPS character. So her skill 1 is going to do 6 tile radius, burn damage. Alright, if the distance between Qiuhua and the target is less than 4 tiles, she increased damage dealt by 5%. Now her skill 2, look at this big massive AoE right here, right? So she is going to basically deal burn to the nearest enemy target within a 6 tile radius. Alright, it is a very big radius. She also gains extra command and reduce the cooldown of ultimate by 1 turn. Now her ultimate is also a decent AoE right there. Selects a tile within the 6 tile of radius. AoE burn equivalent to 90%, applying Scorch Mark to all enemies. Basically that's going to be what it is, right? Now this ultimate skill consumes all the Confectance Index or the skill points, right? And then each of the Confectance Index consumed increased damage multiplier by 5%. That's going to be what it is. And you can see she is going to be a very unique one if there's no allies within 2 tiles of self radius. Increase burn damage dealt by 5%. So how you want to use her is make sure that no one is near her, alright? So increase crit by 30% when dealing burn damage towards targets with Scorch Mark. Now her V6 is going to improve her damage dramatically, alright? So basically the ultimate skill, alright, increase damage dealt by 15% and enhance the effects of Scorch Mark pretty much, right? So Scorch Mark is going to be the proportion that she's able to stack damage. Every stack increase the damage multiplier by 7%. So that's going to increase in proportion. And right here you can see the effects of Scorch Mark is increased to 10%. Increase the number of stack gain when receiving burn damage to 2. So this is going to be pretty insane. Now Qiuhua is pretty much she's pretty much a V0 or V6. If you don't have her at V6, just get 1 copy. Or maybe you can get away with not having her, but V6 is going to be where her damage is going to be significant. So quite similar to Kluke in that particular extent, right? So she's essentially a burn Kluke. Now she does more damage than Chongju, only if you have her at V6. Now that's going to be something to keep in mind. So basically the burn team, there's no slot for Peri pretty much, sadly, right? So if you're looking to make a complete burn team, it's going to be Chongju, Vector, Shakri, and then you get Qiuhua. And then one more character is going to be either one of these two, Ksenia or Centaur Risi, right? So one of these two is going to be your main staple healer depending on who you have. So that's pretty much what it is. So I don't think there's any need for Peri. So unless you really want Peri and you really are there for her design, she is pretty much going to be a skip for most players. But what about what comes after then? So this is going to be a little bit complicated, right? So they also give a little bit of hint right here in the live stream yesterday. Okay, aside from Qiuhua, we also have powerful Hydro and Electric type dolls coming in the second half of the year. So probably that's going to happen after Qiuhua, right? After Qiuhua, we're going to have a Hydro and an Electric type dolls. So a Hydro doll, like I feel like it makes the most sense for this to be Nikita. Alright, so right after that, so probably if you are a player that's looking to complete your Hydro team, probably Nikita is going to make more sense, right? I feel like if you can pick only one, I feel like if you can afford to, V3 Nikita is going to be a pretty good increase in attack. So that's going to be what it is. However, I have no idea what is going to be the other one because according to Yuzong here, he did say Hydro and Electric. So Electric could either be Leva, could be Lena, could be Andoris. So that's going to be what it is, right? So we are not going to be able to gauge what is going to be that character. So with that being said, I hope you guys are prepared. If you guys are low on pulls, I understand that the Dorito update is not here yet, and I know a lot of people are anticipating that particular one. For those of you who are not aware, Dorito update is basically the currency where you obtain dupes. You can basically spend it right here in the neural integration, these Dorito chips right here. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been saving because the end players told you guys to save. In the future, you can use this to buy tickets. The Dorito chips, the redundant pieces, sadly, that's not coming anytime, or at least they didn't announce it in the live stream. I don't think it's going to be a stealth patch thing, right? So we're going to need to wait a little bit and see how that goes. So that's going to be something that hopefully is going to come to global soon. With that, we're also going to get 40 free pulls in the upcoming patch, so make sure you guys pay attention to that. That's going to be very important. As per usual, that's going to be it for this particular video. Make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.